Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuhu. Um, Yesterday we talked a lot about the fit thesis. So just a quick remind, what is fit thesis is all about. Basically, whenever we talk about fit thesis, it's basically all about the loss of functions. What do you mean by loss of functions? Loss of function means, according to different sociologists, especially Parsons and Bale, uh, they simply decided, with the passage of time, with the industrialization, urbanization, uh, globalization, migration, all these terminologies they simply used, all these processes, one can say that the functions of the family were affected. For instance, when the industrialization took place in 17th century, things were entirely different because people tried to find new job opportunities in urban areas. So the process keep on going, and a time was there when most of the people tried to live in big cities for the better job opportunities. So this process was called urbanization or migration. So through these processes, the fundamental are the core functions of the family were affected in primitive societies or in agriculture. The period in which agriculture was very in, most of the people engaged in agriculture, farming. They were extended families. So, fit thesis is all about the loss of function due to different uh, big processes or big events like industrialization, like urbanization, like migration. So yesterday we talked a lot about the thing about the fit thesis. There are 2 points I mentioned in detail. First of all, it's pre-industrial society when extended nuclear family was the premium, because most of the family were extended families, and he gave reasons for that. A lot of workforce is required, so obviously a lot of workforce means extended family. No way of communication, no way of transportation. The better, transportation, so people like to stay at their places. Multi-functions for the family. They have to cater their kids, they have to go to the fields for agriculture. And then it's you can say very poor medical facilities, so obviously people can't move here and there. And when we talk about the poor medical facilities, one can say that it's all about the young people who had to took care of their elderly people. This I had it yesterday in my lecture. So today we are going to start with the argument. The people gave arguments that fit thesis was not right. There are so many things which can be discussed in opposition, in arguments to prove that fit thesis was wrong. Right? So, quick start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Arguments against Parsons. You know that Parsons was the one who gave the fit thesis, right? So, Finch, no, this is basically the argument. So, we are talking about those people who criticize the fit thesis. So, let's begin with the Finch. Finch examined the idea that before the Industrial Revolution, family obligations were much stronger and family members provided greater support for each other than in the industrial and post industrial eras. She found little evidence to support this view of the pre industrial family. Historical studies have also shown that there was a wide range of household type in the pre industrial period. There is no evidence that extended family were the norms. Such studies have led some sociologists to question the idea of a fit between the nuclear family and the process of industrialization. One alternative suggestion is that industrialization and urbanization first occurred in the part of Western Europe because pre-industrial family structure were already mainly nuclear rather than extended. As a result, they could respond to the new economic opportunities requiring family mobility and flexibility. In other words, the pre industrial family structure without unbreakable ties to extended kin were a contributing cause of the industrial development. Although extended family existed, they were not as common nor as dominant as the fit theorists have suggested. One reason for this was the average life expectancy was low, around 35 to 40, so the majority of the adults did not live long enough to become grandparents, reducing the number of vertically extended extended families. So according to the first argument, which was given by Finch, a lady, in 1989. So see, I mean, it's so simple. Um, according to Finch, according to Finch. Uh, oh yes, I need to mention it's page 85, right? So according to Finch, there are a couple of very strong points which force us to rethink about the fit thesis. First of all, according to Finch, I mean, the life expectancy was 35 to 45. So it means if the life expectancy is 35 to 45, one can say that we don't have any proof that people live longer, that they become grand families, right? So one thing, it's a very valid point. You know why the life expectancy is 35 to 45? Because a plague, wars, and different kind of events happened, and due to poor medication, we can say that due to poor medication, people didn't live longer. One thing, very valid point. Secondly, I mean, she enforced and give us a new thought, food for thought, to reconsider our understanding about the fit thesis, and it was you can say that people live uh, most of the time near the urban areas. So people live near urban areas, so it is an ideal situation for the landowners or the industrialists to start a new business or start a new thing, because they already had a lot of workforce around. So, according to Parsons, they migrated, for instance, from one place to another and simply change the whole scenario. So, according to Finch, it was not like that. Why industrialization started? Because most of the people who live near the cities, they were ready to provide the workforce, because they are strong, more stronger as compared to the people who are living exactly in the cities, like landowners. So this is the second point, and it is very, you can say it's a valid point as well. One, mobility doesn't require mobility in industrialization, because, for instance, they are living this place and just a mile away, I mean, people establish industries. So it is an ideal opportunity, and you people know that even right now we are not allowed to have industries within the cities. Normally, industries are built outside the city, you can say suburb areas in the middle. So according to Finch, it is a clear indication that industrialization took place due to the availability of the workforce living near the industries. So people decided to have a construct or build an industry somewhere. So already there are a lot of people who simply offer, okay, why don't you join our industry, we will give you a lot of money, right? So this is the second thing. Thirdly, according to Finch, we need to learn this thing as well. We don't have any historical evidence that people were living in extended family. We don't have any evidence for that, historical evidence. We can't find anything, so one can simply say that yes, we have approved this according to that. It is all about assumptions that most of the people did agriculture, no doubt about that, this is true. But how they manage, I mean, it is questionable. A grand family, because it is crystal clear people did not have that proper medication facilities we people have right now in the after industrialization. So there are 3 points you need to keep these points in your mind in argument about the fit thesis. First of all, the life expectancy, and life expectancy, it's all about the medical care. Secondly, you need to remember no historical evidence is there just to prove extended family were the norms of that time, industrialized society, right? Second thing, and third thing was it is the nuclear family. It was the nuclear family, sorry to say that, which provided the landowners an opportunity to establish a new kind of business like industry. Clear? So these are 3 points are in contrast to fit thesis. Okay, so industrialization in the United Kingdom may also has been helped by the main inheritance system of primogeniture. That is, the firstborn son inherited all the family wealth, including the home, and the younger brother and sister siblings had to move out. This put wealth in few hands, and money could be invested in growing industry. The younger siblings moved to the city as factory worker. Okay, one of the point is, this is also very valid point. And see the terminology, primogenitor. What is primogenitor? It was a custom. It was a practice in United Kingdom that the firstborn child got all the inheritance, all the assets. See, the remaining are, you can say, the younger siblings. They did not have anything to have as far as the inheritance is concerned. So all the money, assets, lands were given to the elder son. Is it clear? So this is one of the reasons. One of the reasons, according to Finch, that's, for instance, the elder son decided to establish an industry, so it is quite natural for them to have workforce in form of their siblings. So they don't need to even think about the workforce all around. Most of the people, for instance, if I'm telling you they live in this, for instance, in this area, there are dozens of family, and all the family have had to follow the same rule. What was the same rule? I mean, all the wealth, all the assets, all the things were given to the elder son. So once all, so the siblings, they didn't need to go here and there. So why don't they join the industry or the new business as a worker? So it is quite easy and quite understandable, right? So next, Anderson, a new reference. Anderson in 1995 argued that no single family or household structure was dominant during the industrialization process. Both reconstituted and lone parent family existed in pre-industrial society, and mainly because of the high death rates among the poor. Anderson suggested that during the process of the industrialization, the working class developed a broadly extended family structure, mainly as a consequences of urbanization. As towns developed around factories, pressure on living space resulted in extended families that satisfied a number of purposes. The lack of government help for the sick or unemployed mean that working class family relied on a strong kinship network for their care and survival. Most people could barely read or write, so kinship networks help to secure jobs for family members by recommending them to employers. If both parents worked, relatives played a vital part in childcare. Death rates were high, but children without parents often could be absorbed into the extended family structure. Children worked from quite a young age, so young relatives were used to add to family incomes. Okay, so these are the factors according to Anderson. We have a new reference. Anderson. What did Anderson say about the fit thesis? According to him, no, see that. According to Anderson, it is, we can't say anything for sure, even that in pre industrial society, the nuclear family was there. So basically, whatever people are saying, for instance, Finch or the secondly Anderson, they are saying they are in contrast against in the fifth thesis. But even Anderson, what Anderson was saying, it was again a bit different than what Finch was saying. Clear? Because we need to learn arguments, we need to learn how they are quite the same or the different as far as the reference is concerned. So according to Anderson, the most you get common family type in pre-industrial society was neither extended family nor nuclear family. Re- Regardless, they were basically reconstituted families or the lone parents. Why? Because so many people died due to medical care. I mean, there were insufficient medical facilities for the people. So, I mean, it is hard to live longer. So, once they are not live longer, obviously, you can say one simply lost their partner. So, it is quite easy for those persons who lost their partners to have a new marriage, a reconstituted family. Is it clear? So it is it's a entirely different what Finch and the person were saying. It's entirely different, and it is a bit logical as well. Reconstituted families were the norms at that particular moment in pre-industrial society. One thing. Second thing is that, I mean, he said, according to Anderson, yes, it's pre-industrialized society, and one can say that to some extent extended family were also playing very important part in industrialization. You know why? Most of the people were illiterate, they don't know how to read and write. So one or two people within the family were enough to cater all the stuff. I mean, for recommendation, finding a new job as far as in industrialization process. One thing. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier in reference to Anderson, most of the people lost their partners. So once they lost their partner, and if they have offsprings, so who are going to take care of the offsprings? The relatives. So if we talk about the relatives living together, it means we are talking about extended family. So according to Anderson, there were certain functions, there were certain indication which forced us to rethink that in a pre-industrialized society, I mean, extended or reconstituted families were the norms at that particular moment. Understand? Okay. Some functions once performed by the family has been taken over by other institution. Education is now handled by a school system. Health and social care has been largely handed over to the range of the professional from doctors and nurses to social workers. Recreation and leisure, once focused on the family, has become either more individualized or something that is done outside the home. So there are certain things which are there. We need to even reconsider for that thing. Now things are entirely changed. After industrialization, after urbanization, there are so much which are taken away from the family, which were once the part of the family. For instance, see that it's too good. Recreation. So years before, we don't have any, you can say, social networking at all. So what we used to do is, so if we want to have some fun, we want to spend our leisure, the best thing is to sit together with the family members and have chat with them on anything, what on daily routine, the future planning, future perspective. So all these were the part of your leisure activities. Or you can say that the male members of the family, they used to play, I mean, so many games according to regions. Clear? But now things are entirely changed. Every single person has his own mobile phone. Even, I mean, the partners, they don't find time for themselves even, and they're simply playing on their own mobile phone. Even kids have their own mobile phones. So you can say leisure has almost changed everything. Activities are changed. Every single person, a person living in a room, have 3 to 4 mobiles, and they are simply playing on their mobile rather to talk with each other. It's obviously changed. One thing. Secondly, it's all about the medical care. In industrialization process, we are witness. I mean, people die in early age due to insufficient medical facilities. Even you can say death rate was very common, very high. Child, you can say, birth was an issue at that particular moment because people didn't have any awareness about that. But a lot of family members, they lost their kids in very early age due to again, it's a medical facilities which were not provided to mother. Right, there's certain things which are there, I mean, which now which have been taken either by the government or by the institutions which are obviously privatized or sometimes public by the government. Is clear? For instance, I mean, no specialized nurses are there, specialized doctor, orthopedic, gynecologist, and there are so many specialized things we have. And then child, you can say how to raise a child. It is obviously taken over by the institutions such as kindergarten, nursery schools, then so much. So after industrialization, there are lots of function, basically, which was the part of our debate as well. A lot of functions which were the part of a family, which were the part of primary socialization, now taken over by the government institution or private sector or NGOs. Clear? Okay. So now, see, these functions can, however, be seen as having been modified rather than lost completely. Many parents, especially among the middle class, are actively involved in their children's education. Family play an important care role. Non critical illness are largely treated within the family, and family may carry out long term care of the elderly. Many families, especially those with young children, share leisure and recreation, although this may be largely consumed outside the home as part of the leisure industry. So, I mean, the points I mentioned above were, first of all, it's the functions lost by the family. I talk about leisure, yes, it happens like that, but still, it simply depends on the class you are living in. Middle class people love to, if the parents are educated, so they love to spend their time on their children because they want their children to be protected socially, culturally, economically. There are so many factors. Even religiously, parents like to sit with the kids. Many families still now, I mean, they like to sit with their kids and they simply teach them about their civilization, about their culture, about their norms, about their religion. So these things happen, but it's simply restricted to middle class. And if we talk about the poor class, obviously poor class don't have that facilities to buy mobile phone or the internet connection or things like that. I'm talking generally. So still they don't have any choice, just except to sit together or even send their kids to the playground nearby to play something outside. So it is not, to some extent one can, these kind of things are, you can say we can measure all those things geographically, demographically. I mean, different societies, different rules and regulation, different uh, way of upbringing of their children. So still one can say that it's not the complete loss of primary socialization. Still there's a, you can say a proper ratio is there who can still trying to revive the primary socialization, one can say that. So this, now switch to the next topic. You need to prepare this topic today. I mean, what is fit thesis, what are the points which are in the favor of fit thesis, what are the points, are the arguments which are against the fit thesis. Now we start with the new article, which is a way evaluation of functionalist account of the family. So we need to evaluate, we need to analyze, and need to check what functionalists were thinking about what family is as an institution. You remember that when we talk about the functionalism, are the functionalists are those people who emphasize or accentuate more on the functions of an institution. While they are talking about the functions of institutions, one can say that they are taking family as a major institution, because family is always there to play the vital, pivotal part in upbringing of a kid and providing a labor force to the society for the betterment. So let's begin evaluation of the functionalist account of the family. Functionalists were the first sociologists to focus on the importance of the family life and to recognize that the two generations nuclear family with adults of the both sexes and dependent children was common around the world. They drew attention to the various positive ways in which family provides support for individuals and in doing so help to stabilize society. The nuclear family remains the type of the family that many people live in or hope to live in, and it is still also the type of family encouraged by the policies of many governments. In these way, functionalists have made important contribution to the study of the family. Functionalist accounts of the family have, however, been criticized in various ways. The functionalist approach developed in mid 20th century in the USA and can be seen as being both out of the date and as not applying to all other societies. The account of Parsons and other are based on the experience on white middle class American at that time, when probably for a fairly brief period. It was possibly to believe that the privatized nuclear family was the most common and the best type of family. Differences of the social class, ethnicity are absent from functionalist account. The focus on the functions of the family tends to mean that functionalists only see the ways that the nuclear family contribute in a positive way to the life of individual and of the society. Functionalists idealize this one type of family which involved exaggerating its positive aspect, the security of the children's upbringing, for example, while downplaying the more negative aspect. These negative aspects include the blocking of women aspiration and career by being steered into the household role. One, the limitation of man's involvement in the expressive and nurturing aspect of the family, like because of the breadwinner role, the dominance of the man in decision making, and the abuse of the male power through, for example, domestic violence and imposing of the punishments, the lack of support for family members in the privatized nuclear family from wider kin and communities, the possibilities of the nuclear family contributing to mental and other problems. Okay, so this is, we have evaluation. So as I mentioned earlier, whenever we talk about the functionalist, we need to understand that functionalists, they talk about the functions of the family, and especially whenever they talk to family, they emphasize, they give more importance to nuclear family, right? But when we evaluate, we criticize this aspect of the functionalist, we come to know that functionalists exaggerated a lot about the positivity of the nuclear family, and they simply downplay. What do you mean by downplay? They simply try to hide the negative aspects of the nuclear family. So when we evaluate, I mean, which is the better? So it's simply it is your turn to decide, because we are evaluating. So it's analyzing. So it's up to you which what is your decision? I mean, either it is nuclear family was important, or still it is very important in many societies of the world. First of all, we need to understand functionalist. Uh, I mean, the persons who gave this theory, the fifth thesis, as I mentioned earlier. Secondly, it was basically the theory which moved around the white middle class American families over you can say over a suitable period of time. But the thing is that the ethnicity, the culture, uh, and the different social status, they were all excluded from this theory. I mean, because it is purely all about the middle class, it is purely all about the simply Americans. The functionalist theory was all about the Americans. So there was so much difference between different societies. See that in Asia, people have entirely different kind of concept of family as compared to America. Arab states, entirely different concept as compared to America. Even within Europe, people have far more difference. I mean, as compared to America. So, first, which is very valid point, is all about. I mean, whenever we talk about the functionalist theory, it's simply restricted to a specific class, middle class, specific area, America. So how could it be possible to impose that research on the whole world? It is not possible. So this is very valid point in evaluating the role of the family or the family structure. One thing. Second thing is that we need to understand what is important or the significant is that according to people who are against the functionalist approach, they simply say, I mean, by all this, like nuclear family, one can say that. So we have divided the roles of the family members. For instance, a woman's had or have to be at home to do domestic work. So it simply block the way of progress or the prosperity or the aspiration of the female members of the society to come forward to work for the society. They are restricted at homes. Clear? One thing, very valid point. Second thing is that I mean it's all about the it's all about the patriarchy. Yes, what is patriarchy? Patriarchy is all about the papa. It's all about the father, the dominance of father. Because obviously, father is running the father is the breadwinner. So I mean, he has more rights. It is considered actually more rights to decide about certain things. Secondly, thirdly, I mean, it simply release the pressure on father to participate in nurturing the kids, because obviously when you out, you don't have any idea what is happening at home, how difficult it is for the female members to bring up the child. Thirdly, so first it's all about the no aspiration for women, no chance to progress for women in nuclear family. One thing. Second thing is that breadwinner, so it's all about papa decision. I mean, he will decide what to do or what to not. Secondly, thirdly, it's uh, father is all you can say that I mean is away from the basic function of nurturing, because obviously he is busy in his outside work. Thirdly and fourthly, when we talk about the nuclear family, one can say that when father or the male person of the society has the dominance, so one can say that demographically we can prove, we can say that in so many areas, other part of the world, I mean, husbands are male people, are male partner, they are forcing their spouses for their own will. Violence, abuse, and other kind of, you can say that torture is even included in this perspective. So they are very valid points. I mean, I mentioned, I mean, in argument against the fifth thesis and the evaluation of the functionalist, I mean, who simply keep on saying that still nuclear family is very important. But I must add a couple of things now. After industrialization, urbanization, and the advancement of science, I mean, one can say that now privatized nuclear family is more important, because sometimes it's simply exaggerated. See that function is exaggerated. I mean, it is all about the grand family, because they are playing their part in upbringing of the kids. I mean, it is one of the responsibility of the grandparents. I mean, who can spend their leisure time with their kids, with their grandson or granddaughter. Exactly, same way. But the people who are against the fifth thesis, they simply say, see that, I mean, it is possible grand family does not have any experience what is going on in this world. So all the responsibility, all the functions of the grand family has taken over by different institutions, like healthcare, like education, like recreation. So we have more, you can say, institutions. outside the family who can perform the functions of the family. This we have in the evaluation of the functionalist account of the family. The last thing which I need to mention in this is the functionalist approach also involve failing to recognize the viability of other type of family and of the alternatives to the family. It also assumes that family is the distinct and can be separated from other institutions and aspect of life. For instance, the remaining functions attributed to the family, such as primary socialization, are in fact shared by different agencies, including school, I mentioned it before, the media, and the peer groups. On the other hand, the family often still plays a considerable role in providing function it has supposedly lost, such as healthcare and financial support. Family play an important role in society, but in conjunction with other part of the society, functionalists tend to see socialization as one-way process. In primary socialization, children absorb the norms and the values of the society from their close family. While this can help to explain how norms and values survive over the time, even as new generation replace older ones, most sociologists see socialization as a two-way process of interaction. Children influence parents as well as parents influencing children. What happens in socialization is more complicated than a process of transferring norms and values from parents to children, who in the functionalist approach can see like empty vessels rather than individual with their own personalities already. So the last thing it's already mentioned, that according to functionalists they simply keep on accentuating on primary socialization. I mean, so the people who are totally against the functionalists, they simply say now things are changed, social networking, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge around the world. We are living in a global village. We are touch away whatever we want to get. So after having so many things, you can say that, I mean, it is even possible that media can play more vital role in learning a child as compared to grand family. So, I mean, the functionalists who keep on saying primary socialization, very important, primary socialization. It's all about the responsibility of the parents to cater our upbringing, or the nurturing of the child. It's all about the emotional attachment a child need from the parents to be a good person, are a useful citizen of the society. But I mean, the people who are against the functionalists simply raise a question which is to some extent a bit valid as well, and they are simply saying now media is playing more important part. Why? Because through cartoons, through movies, through leisure activities, I mean, there must be so much for the kids to understand, and now it is the time to say that if parents can influence their child, same is the way. So according to anti-functionalist sociologists, they are simply saying couple of years before it's a one-way traffic. According to functionalist, primary socialization, parents to kids, now it works on both ways. Why? Because now it's time for the kids to tell their, I mean, grand family or the family even, see that this is mobile, you know how to use it, how to download it. Because, I mean, for instance, a parents of 30 to 40, I mean, I'm talking in general, I'm not specifically saying any part of the world. I mean, children are more, you can say, educate, more literate as compared to the scientific gadgets are concerned. So they can play, they can run, they can use it more properly as compared to their grand family or parents. So this is I have for today. Take great care of yourself. Have a very, very good, warm, nice day. Hope to see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Khudafiz.